Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
And not in time, says the umpire. So now the Bears have runners at second and third. That's going to be a swing and a miss for strike two. And a good hit out into center field. Dylan Malone is there. And that's out number 3. So the 2 out base runners come to nothing for the Bears as they leave 2 stranded here in the bottom of the second. And we'll be right back. You're watching NETsn.
Number 21 to the plate to get this started, Lex Rich.
So the designated hitter, Lex Rich, will lead things off here in the top of the third. Beautiful day here for baseball here in Brownsboro. And a good crowd for both teams here. Swing and a miss by Rich. Here's the windup and the pitch. That's high and outside for ball 1. And that's fouled off back towards the softball stands.
Out of play, foul ball. We go back to play 1 and 2. Bases empty.
So 1 and 2 now the count. And it's going to be to the outside for a ball. So even at 2 now. That's fouled back, out of play.
Out of play down the first baseline. Go back to play 2 to count. Nobody out, nobody on.
Foul back again, so we got a little battle going now. here at the plate.
Rich staying alive.
Good pitch.
And that is called a ball. And swings that one for strike number 3.
Passed him for the first out of the inning. First baseman David Sims steps in from the left side.
Here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be high and outside.
Let's go, Cam.
Oh, that's a hit by pitch. Inside. So that's going to put Sims on first.
So he starts off down to first.
And Andrew Sims
One on, one out. For number 2.
will step in.
Andrew Sims.
And throws over to make sure that David stays where he is. Gotzi looks, checks over first, and brings it home. That's inside and another hit by pitch. So David and Andrew Sims both on base, first and second.
He's down to first. David moves over to second.
And Blake Whitten
One out, 2 on.
will head to the plate.
For number 19, Blake Whitten.
With 1 out and 2 on, Whitten will step in. Here's the pitch. He squares around for a bunt, pops it up, foul, down the third base line.
Running foul down third base. Runner, go back. Whitten steps back in.
And here comes the pitch. Squares around again and pulls back in time. So now the count is 1-1. The guard trying to move both runners up a base. The Bears in field. And bunt coverage there.
Good job, Cam.
First baseman runs up. Whitten gets a strike on that one as he couldn't pull back out of bunt position fast enough. So 1-2. And that's going to be an out. That's a weird call. Usually you don't see a bunt on 2 strikes, but
2 down in the inning.
you learn something new every day.
For number 10.
So that's going to be the second out. And we're going to have a change of batter. And Samuel Williams will be stepping into the batter's box. He'll be batting for Ben Brotz. All right, so Williams set in the batter's box, and here's the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Looks like it caught the outside corner. Good pitch by Gotze. So 2 on, 2 out. 0-1 the count to Williams. Inside, 1-1 the count. Wind coming out of the west, pretty gusty. But clear skies here in Brownsboro. And here's the pitch. It's going to be fouled back. And that'll put 2 strikes.
A ball and 2 strikes on the batter. 2 out, 2 on.
So 1-2 the count to Williams. Runners at first and second and 2 outs for the guard. And here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike 3 and out number 3. And that'll retire the side. So we're through 2.5. Your score, Brook Hill 4, Brownsboro 0. We'll be right back here in Brownsboro. Today's game is brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. You're watching NETsn.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
It's been told to me there was another strike, but I didn't personally see it.
So we're back. Lincoln Burton is going to lead things off here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Cranking in the 3rd.
And here's the pitch. It's going to be outside for a ball. And that bounces on the plate. So 2-0 the count. Foul back for strike 1. And that one is fouled back.
A little early, 20. Let it travel, boy.
And reaches out for that one. but not able to connect. And that's strike one.
First out inning brings up the top of the lineup. Bears, Jackson Rogers.
Go 9.
And so now we're back to the top of the lineup for Brownsboro. And number 9, Jackson Rogers. And good little movement, but it's going to be a little low. And ball 1. In there for a strike. Looked like the same location as the last one, but that's why they don't pay me to be an umpire. So 1-1. And that one's gonna hit the dirt right behind the home plate. And 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. And he hits that one foul into the Brownsboro dugout.
Keep battling 9. Look alive, Bears.
And he reaches out and grabs that one. And Bratz grabs it and slings it over to David Sims. And we're out number 2.
Third baseman cuts it off going across the diamond.
As you may be able to hear, that wind is picking up quite a bit here. Peyton Stevenson now up with nobody on and 2 outs. That's going to be low and outside for ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Oh, hit by pitch. Right in the back. Got away from him. Looked like he was trying to put a little English on it, and it just got away from him. So after the hit by a pitch, Jackson Epperson's going to make his way into the batter's box.
Go 1.
Alexander over to first. Not in time. Stevenson with a good lead over there at first. Alexander sets. And brings the pitch home. And that one's going to be low. For ball 1. And throw over to first. Good little throw. But Stevenson was back in time. So Alexander from the stretch and brings it home. And outside makes it 2 balls and no strikes. And a check swing ends up getting hit down the first base line, and Alexander comes off the mound and has to chase it down and kind of makes a 180 spin to chunk it and gets it over to Sims for out number 3. So we're heading now to the top of the 4th. Your score is still 4, Brook Hill, Brownsboro 0. We'll be back You're watching NETsn. And we have time on the field. As the coach will head out and have a conversation. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change.
Brownsboro have a pitching change here.
So the new pitcher for the Brownsboro Bears is going to be number 4, Carson Dingler, looks like. Yep, junior Carson Dingler is going to be on the mound now for the Bears. So while he does his warm-up, we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Swanee Computer Services. Is your computer's life hanging on by a thread? Maybe you need to eliminate a pesky virus, speed up your system, or send performance into overdrive. Whatever the case, giving your computer the VIP treatment can be costly, and there aren't a lot of people that you can truly trust. That's where we come in. We've been doing this for years, so we know our stuff. We pride ourselves on our ability to fix any computer problem at your home or office with the most reasonable prices in the industry. There's no reason to go anywhere else. We will assist with internet and Wi-Fi connections, crashing and freezing issues, software errors, data loss and retrieval, hardware faults and upgrades, virus and spiral removal. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We'll get you going on.
We are back. And Jabin Moore, top of the lineup for the guard, is going to be the first to meet the new Bear pitcher. And he hits that one high. Pop up, and it's going to be the center fielder, Stevenson, running up on that one for out number 1.
Fly ball in the shallow center, handled well for the first out inning. Cade Chesley will step in with 1 on, 1 out.
So now Cade Chesley steps in. He has a runner on first and 1 out for the guard. little conversation at the mound. And the umpire had to come out and round them up. So here we go. And a good solid hit, or pitch, excuse me, comes in there by Dingler. No balls and 1 strike. And a throw over to first. And Braxton Durrett is a courtesy runner over there on first, and he gets back in time. Here's the pitch home. It's going to be high for a ball. It's going to be 1-1. And the throw back over, and Durrett back in time. Trying to make sure he stays where he is. And here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. So Chesley finds himself behind on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And throw back over. But not in time again, as Durrett gets back. We are in the top of the 4th. Your score is 4-0 as Brook Hill leads. And Kate Chesley's at the plate with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first and 1 out for the guard. And the throw catches Durrett on the steal. There's the throw back over and over the head of the shortstop Jackson Rogers and the ball goes into left field. Epperson, good job to back up the throw. But Hudler put a little extra on it and just went high. So they caught him on the steal, but the E3 is going to cause them the extra base for the guard. And that's going to be a good off-speed pitch that fools Chesley, and that pitch will sit him down for out number 2. Now Dylan Malone is next up. Hit an RBI triple back in the first, accounting for 2 of the 4 runs for the guard. Here comes the pitch, and that's fouled back. Here's the pitch. And an off-speed pitch, but that's going to not get over the strike zone. So it's going to be 1-1. That's a good pitch by Dingler. Looked like it from here that it was going to be a strike, but didn't get quite over, I'm guessing. And that's going to be a pop-up. And in foul territory as the collision between Hudler and Childers. Nobody called anybody off. They both went after it at the same time and were unable to make that. So a run comes in. Malone makes it to first. And the designated hitter, Lex Rich, is going to step in the batter's box with a runner on first and 2 outs. And that one's fouled back out of play. And throw over to make sure Malone's where he's supposed to be. Check it again. All right, here's the pitch. And that one's going to be just a tad low. It's a good pitch. As Dingler has good speed on his pitches, but that one was just below the knees. Of course, with Rich, a tall young man, a lot's going to be below the knees on a normal pitch. That's going to be high for a ball, so 2 balls and 1 strike. Throw back over. Making sure Dylan Malone stays on first base. He is a little bit of a base stealing threat. I seen his speed. Taking a big lead off first. And that's going to be a swing and a strike, as the umpire says he did go all the way around. So 2-2 now the count.
2-2, she got 1 on.
Here's a pitch. And that's a swing for strike 3. And out number 3. So we are through 3.5 here in Brownsboro. 1 run does come across, so that extends the Guard lead to 5 over the Bears. But the Bears aren't out of it yet. Still got a lot of game to go here in Brownsboro. We'll be right back. You're watching NETsn.
We'll go back and play in the bottom of the 4th. Number 15, Bryce Hudler. Step in from the left side, see if he can get the Bears played off.
And leading things off here in the bottom of the 4th, first baseman Bryce Hudler. He's going to step up in. Can watch that one go for a ball. And ball 1. And that's a swing and a miss for a strike. And that one's going to be in the dirt. 2-1 now the count. And here's the pitch. And that one, a good little off-speed pitch. Makes him go swinging at that one. And now the count even at 2. Alexander in the windup and the pitch. High and outside for a ball. And that makes the count, full count, at 3-2.
Just a little bit, yeah. I don't know if it was. I pulled it out. Took it real hot. Good eye, boy.
Inside for ball 4.
He works
And a runner on first.
Puts the leadoff runner home for the Bears. For number 22, Cooper Shook.
So now Cooper Shook is going to step in with nobody out and 1 on. And the Bears are going to work to bite into that lead that the Guard have. And ball for the Guard on that one. Looked like it was a good pitch, but from this angle, couldn't see the other side. It may have been an outside, so it's ball 1. And a throw over, and the runner gets back just in time. Hudler with a good lead. Alexander looks in and brings it home. And that's going to be high. And 2-0. And here's the pitch. And a solid hit in the left field. It's going to be a fly ball in short left field. And Epperson's going to come up and make the catch for the first out. Correction, that was Chesley. Looked at the wrong list. This is Cade Chesley in left field. So Landon Hatton now is going to step in with 1 out and 1 on. Throw over to first, tries to get Hudler. But he gets back in time. Here's the pitch. That bounces on the outside, and a throw down from Clements, not in time. Trying to catch Hudler sleeping over there, but he gets back head first. And here's the pitch. It's going to be foul back. And another pop fly. It's high into the infield. Alexander gets called off, and the ball gets dropped, and Clements has to get it, and he throws it quickly over to second for the tag, as it's a force out at second. But David Sims couldn't squeeze that one, and it drops. So a good job by the catcher Clements to be quick action and grab that ball and throw it over to second, where Jabin Moore was waiting. And now Hudson Childers steps in with 2 out and 1 on. and brings the pitch. That's going to be high. And ball one. Throw over to first. Puts Hudler back. And a solid hit. That's going to go to shortstop. Moore shovels it over to Witten, and that's out number 3. So we're done through 4.5. Excuse me, we're done through 4. And on to the 5th. Your score remains 5-0 as the Guard lead. We'll be right back. In Brownsboro, you're watching NETsn.
Dingler back to the mound to start this 5th inning against David Sims, number 7, first baseman.
So David Sims is going to lead things off for the Guard here in the top of the 5th. As this game is cruising right along here. Carson Dingler still on the mound for the Bears. And brings a great pitch in for strike 1. Here comes the pitch.
Nice.
And another good one. Dingler with good movement on his pitches. Here's a pitch. And that's a fly ball into left center field. As Stevenson calls off Epperson and makes the catch for out number 1.
Legs hurt. Lightheaded.
We go to Andrew Sims, number 2.
So Andrew Sims is now next. Here's the pitch. And that one's down the left field line. Epperson grabs it, throws it into the cutoff man, and the base hit is in. As Andrew Sims makes it to first base. Blake Witten is next up, and he'll step in. With 1 on and 1 out, Witten will step into the batter's box. Dingler looks in, gets the sign, checks first, and will bring it home, and he squares around. Witten does for a bunt, pulls back in time as that's going to be high and outside for a ball. Checks again. Jingler checks first, brings it home. Another square around, but he goes after that one. And I guess he thought he was going to crack that one down first base line, but didn't catch up with it. And gets a strike and makes it 1-1 the count. Squares around again. It's going to go high for 2-1. And we have time at the plate as Dingler was taking a little long, checking over at first. Sims had the go-ahead to steal as he was taking off at the time. So everybody resets back at our spots, and here we go. Squares around again, but bunts that one back, and now the count evens at 2.
2-2, 1 out, 1 on. We'll reset again.
So we'll see what happens this time. As the last time,
You ready, A?
on a second strike, a Brook Hill batter bunted and went foul. Swing and a miss for a strike 3, and out number 2.
Down strike, number 2. Number 31, Ben Brock.
So Ben Bratz steps in. With 2 outs and a runner on first, Sims takes a nice little lead over there. Dingler checks him and throws over. Didn't like the lead. Pitch comes home and is high for a ball. That's low and inside, ball 2. And that's going to be about the numbers level. And a throw as Sims takes on second.
Just under the tag.
Just under that tag. As Jackson Rogers is covering. And we have time on the field. So we're going to take a bit of a break. We'll be right back.
No, he said he's lightheaded. Do what? Yeah, but it's not my responsibility to spoon feed him. He can feed himself. Yeah, he can use a fork. That's right. sit over here? Shade? You're trying to get some I think so. He just needs something. Snickers and chips. He just needs something in his belly. I'm not going to make it to his stomach. He's already. We'll see. I mean, he probably won't play the rest of the game. Sit down. And what's good now is Carson can get it if he wants. He could have as many pitches as he wants. So when they do switches, they get like 5 or 7. There's a debut. Hunter, I thought it was Justin.
No, that's his dad.
That's what I thought. Okay. Hunter Snyder.
That's funny because I don't think anybody knows his full name, his first name.
Yeah, he's Snyder.
Yeah, just that. This person does just because he's outside.
All right, bye.
Snyder.
Hunter Snyder.
We're about to play now with a new catcher for Brownsboro, Hunter Snyder.
That's what I was asking.
So the Brownsboro Bears have a new catcher, Hunter Snyder, stepping in. Umpire's going to give Carson Dingler some warm-up tosses. And let him get that arm warmed up again.
All that time, they still call time.
Ben Boss will step back in.
So Ben Bratz, with a count of 3 balls and no strikes, will step in.
2 outs.
Andrew Sims is on second. And game play resumes. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. Oh, no, calls it. I apologize. That looked like a strike to me. So it was a ball.
Boss draws the walk. Number 23, Dallas Clemens.
So Dallas Clemens, the catcher,
2 outs.
will step in. With 2 on and 2 out. Dingler, ready to go. And here's the pitch. That one's in there for a strike. Dingler brings it home, swing and a miss. And now Clemens finds himself behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. A little off speed as Clemens second guessed himself, but did get a piece of it, so he stays alive here. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And that one, though, he didn't get a hold of. And that's out number 3. So through 4 1/2, the Guard lead 5-0. And we'll be right back here. You're watching NETsn, brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. That's what this game is sponsored by. We want to thank them for doing that. And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We are here in Brownsboro at the bottom of the 5th.
Number 12, Aiden Green.
And Aiden Green is going to lead things off for the Bears, as Ashton Alexander is still on the mound for the Guard. And that's going to be a fly ball infield. Blake Witten underneath it for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
1 out. Brings up number 20, Lincoln Burton.
And that'll put Lincoln Burton, number 20, the left-hander in the batter's box. Alexander with the windup and the pitch. Another off speed, and that one's in there for a strike. And here's the pitch. And that's going to be down the left field line. And a good base hit by
Burton dumps that one in the left field for a single.
the Burton, Lincoln
Burton.
And so with a runner on first, we're back to the top of the lineup for the Bears. It's number 9, Jackson Rogers. Makes his way into the batter's box. 1 out and 1 on. And another
Sorry, next pitch fastball.
off speed. As Alexander, his first 3 batters this inning, he throws the first pitch as an off-speed pitch, kind of throwing off these batters a little bit. And throw over to first, and gets him as he catches Lincoln Burton with a pickoff over at first and gets out number 2. So Alexander's back, ready to go. In the windup. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. And you got to think that happens often to Jackson Rogers, as he had a lot more equipment on than most catchers do there in the batter's box. But he heads over to first. And now Peyton Stevenson heads in. And Rogers with a fairly good lead. That one's going to bounce in the dirt. And Clements keeps it in front of him. That'll keep Rogers from taking off. Here's a pitch, and that's going to be a high fly ball. And it looks like it's going to go over shallow center field. And with the wind going the way it is, I don't think they could get an eye on the ball to see where it was going. And it's going to drop in for a base hit. And that's going to put 2 on with 2 outs. And Jackson Epperson is stepping in. So like I said earlier, the game is far from over. And we have time on the field. As the coach is going to head to the mound, have a conversation, possibly a pitching change, but that has yet to be determined. Today's game is brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics for this beautiful game here in Brownsboro. So Alexander is going to stay on the mound for the guard. Coach just wanted to kind of have a conversation with the team.
Everything good. With the guard, we go back to play.
So Epperson steps in with runners at first and second and 2 out. From the stretch and brings the pitch. And another high pop fly. And that one is going to be dropped. So a run does come in, but we got runners at the corners for the Bears.
The big lefty, Bryce Hudler.
And that'll put Bryce Hudler in the batter's box. And we have time.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah.
And the throw over to first. Epperson back in time as he takes a little bit of a lead over there. Here's the pitch. It's going to bounce. And Clements making sure the runners stay where they are. And here comes the pitch. It's going to be a little dink up to the pitcher as Alexander gets it and calmly throws it over to Sims. So 2 on, left on for the Bears, but one run does come across. So they do bite into that lead that has been there since the first inning. And your score now is 5-1. We'll be right back here in Brownsboro. Thank you for watching.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
We're back to play in the top of 6. Brook Hill sends the top order to the plate.
So we're here in the top of the 6th. We're back in Brownsboro. Number 14, Jabin Moore, leadoff batter for the guard. He'll step in. And that pitch is going to be high to lead things off for a ball. And that one's going to be fouled back. And 1-1 the count. So Dingler checks for the sign and brings the pitch. That one's going to be low and inside. Snyder makes a good grab from behind the plate. And here's the pitch. And that's a solid hit over through the infield into the outfield. So that'll put a base runner on for the guard. And Cade Chesley will head to the plate.
Moore stands at first. Corner, Cade Chesley will step into the left side.
So the left-hander in with a runner on first and nobody out. Dingler checks, brings it home, and that's going to be a ball. A little bit above the numbers. And a throw over to first. And Moore gets back in time. Big lead by Moore. And throw over again. Slides in. As Dingler trying to keep him there. Moore is a base stealing threat. Good speed there on first. Brings that pitch home, and again, it's going to be high above the numbers for ball 2. Dingler, a good pitcher over there, but hoping that frustration's not setting in. He needs to calm down and bring good pitches like he's been doing over the last few innings. It's going to be high again. Sometimes when pitchers get in these positions, they worry too much about the base runners instead of focusing at the guy in front of them at the plate. And here's the pitch. And there's the pitch that he's been looking for. And gets in there for a strike. So 3-1's the count. And here's the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike on the outside corner. And I don't think Chesley thought that that was it. So full count. And a good solid hit into right field, as that's going to be a base hit, fumbled by Cooper Shook out in right field, but it does to keep it in front of him. So now runners on first and second. And Dylan Malone will head in. So Malone steps in, nobody out, 2 on for the guard. And a hard hit into left field. And that ball over the head of Epperson to the wall, and runner being waved home as Moore crosses home plate. And a run scores. And that puts runners at first and second with a good RBI single for Dylan Malone. And the designated hitter, Lex Rich, is up next. So Dingler looks in from the stretch. And Rich squares around, but he stays. Didn't get back in time. And strike one. Didn't make the decision to pull back in time. Dingler looks and brings the pitch. Another square around. And once again, not sure what the call was on that. He called it a ball.
That was a strike.
And so the umpire calls it a ball, so it's 1-1.
Square the whole time.
We got an appeal. It looked to me, and I believe everybody else, that Rich stayed square and went after it and did not pull back. But the umpire stated no, he pulled back. Now the ball itself was out of the strike zone, but Rich looked like he stayed square for the bunt the whole time. So, in my opinion, and the fans around, their opinion as well. But the count stays 1-1. So that's what we're going to go for. That's what those umpires get paid the big bucks for. So we'll just keep it at that. So 1-1 as Lex Rich steps in. Nobody out and 2 on for the Guard. And Dingler looks in, ready for the pitch. And puts a heater by, and it's fouled off. And now 1-2. From the stretch. And Chesley almost gets caught. Dingler holds on a little bit and steps off. Makes Chesley go back to second. Nobody was covering the bag, so a pickoff play wasn't in the cards there. Here's the pitch home, and that's going to be high. Chesley at second, Malone at first, and Rich swinging a miss at home plate for out number 1. So Dingler comes back with a vengeance and gets a strikeout. As David Sims steps in, left-hander. And he squares around for a bunt. And that one is foul down the third base line. So we got to reset. So no balls and 1 strike, 1 out, and runners at first and second. Here's the pitch, and he squares around for the bunt. Doesn't pull back in time, so David Sims finds himself behind in the count 0-2. And that's going to be fouled straight back. so the count remains. That's high for a ball.
He just needed some food. He's in there chewing on a Gatorade bottle now. Yeah, he's always gnawing on something.
Here's the pitch home, and that's a swing and a miss. Foul ball, actually. As the umpire said, Sims foul tipped that one backwards, so we're still here 1-2 the count. And that one's going to be high, so that evens the count at 2. And that one bounces in front, and that's going to be a pass ball, and it'll allow the runners to advance. So Snyder attempted to keep it in front, but just got away from him. And that'll bring the count to full. And Sims awaits the pitch. That's a swing and a miss and a strike. And a good pitch by Dingman to strike out and get the second out. So now Andrew Sims is going to step in. And that's a swing for strike. That one's fouled back. That's high. So 1-2 now the count. Here's the pitch, and it's a high fly ball over. And Landon Hatton kind of makes an acrobatic catch. Kind of hurt my back watching that, but he did make the catch. And that ends that half. So we're through 5.5 here in Brownsboro. A run did come across, so the lead is back up to 5 for the Guard. And we'll be right back here in Brownsboro. You're watching NETsn. Today's game is brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics.
It's right here, I got it.
So on to the bottom of the sixth, excuse me. And number 22, Cooper Shook, is stepping in. And here's the pitch. And he starts it off with a good hit. But Taven Moore is there and makes the play over to first for out number 1.
Number 8, Landon Hatton.
Landon Hatton steps up. Ashton Alexander still on the mound for the Guard as he's on the windup. And the pitch. An off-speed pitch is hit down foul. And here's the pitch. Another off-speed, but inside. And 1-1 to count. Alexander with the pitch. That one's in there for a strike. And 1-2. So Hatton is ready. And a solid hit. It's going to go out to the left fielder. Chesley gets it and throws it back in, but a base hit for the Bears. And now Hunter Snyder. Excuse me. Yeah, Hunter Snyder is stepping in.
Blue 7 and yellow 7.
That one's going to get in there.
Good one to lay off. Good one to lay off.
Looked a little high for me, but you know, again, I'm not an umpire. So that's going to be a strike. Alexander with the pitch and a good hit straight up the middle. It's back to Alexander. There's the throw. And that one is going to be a 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. Wow. You don't see that very often, but you do see it. And that will end the 6th. So we're on to the 7th and possibly final inning here in Brownsboro. So the Guard will be up first, and we'll be right back here in Brownsboro. Don't go anywhere.
7, Cooper Shook takes over the pitching duties.
We'll have to put it on later on.
He'll be facing number 22, Ben Krutsinger.
So we're back, and number 22, Ben Krutsinger, making his debut appearance today. And a new pitcher for the Bears. Now it's going to be fouled back. And it looks like Cooper Shook is now pitching for the Bears. Here comes the pitch. And a good little English on it, but it goes outside. So 1-1 now the count. Here's the windup and the pitch from Shook, and that's going to be inside and right in the back. And a hit by pitch puts Krutsinger on first base. And that's kind of a welcome to the game there for Krutsinger.
It works, so be a wall, don't let him go.
So Ben Brotz is now up. As they've checked on
Number 31, Ben Brotz. Step in.
Krutsinger, but Krutsinger's going to come out. They're going to have a courtesy runner. And actually it's going to be, looks like Blake Witten. Correction, sorry, Samuel Williams. It looks like, I can't quite see the number down there, so it could be wrong. Give me a minute, I'll get right here in a second. So Ben Brotz. Brotz steps in, and it does look like Blake Witten is going to be over there on first. And here's the pitch. He's going to square around and foul that one straight up behind. And hits the Brook Hill bus, so good on him. And that'll make it 0-1. So Cooper Shook checks the runner at first. Throws it over, and not in time. But a good pickoff move there. And Brotz ready. And here comes the pitch. He squares around and
Nobody.
goes underneath the bat, but he does not pull back in time. So Brotz behind in the count, 0-2.
Ready to for your feet. Keep working.
Snyder doing a good job to keep the ball in front. And the runner from first does not advance, stays there. Excuse me. Shook ready. Gets what he likes and brings the pitch. And bounces in front. And another good job by Snyder. Keeps that ball in front.
Get him next time.
So 1-2 the count. That wind picking up the dust here. And that's going to be fouled straight back. And he stays alive. And that was an off-speed pitch that and first base is occupied and catches the runner. So a good double play there. And the runner at first should be out based on rule. And he is good because there was first base was occupied and the runner at first ran. So a good double play, good smarts by Snyder to throw it out to second. And Braxton Durrett watches the first pitch go by for a strike. And that's 2. So Cooper Shook just saying, I'm ready to be done with this inning and get up to bat. And 1, 2, 3 strikes. And down go the guard on that one. So a strikeout there and a good double play by Snyder as he's real smart to throw it over to second. And we end the top of the 7th. So last chance for the guard to get things going here as they trail by 5 going into the bottom of the 7th. You're watching NETsn. We'll be right back in Brownsboro. Today's game brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. Don't go anywhere. Could be a photo finish here in Brownsboro. We'll be right back. So here we are in the bottom of the 7th. The Bears trail by 5. So this is the last chance for them to cut into that lead. Ashton Alexander still on the mound, and Aiden Green will step into the batter's box and get this bottom of the 7th going. Here's the pitch. That one's going to bounce over for ball 1. Foul back. And strike 1. So 1-1 now the count. And that goes for a ball, so makes it 2 balls and 1 strike. And that one's going to come back foul. So the count goes even at 2. And that's a hit over to Jabin Moore. And he makes the catch for out number 1.
Let's go, Burton. Get you on base, bud. Need you on base.
Lincoln Burton steps up. Here's the pitch. And hit by pitch. I think we have a, well, we thought, well, I think the batter thought he got hit by the pitch, but the umpire said he didn't. So 1-0 count. That was a good try by Burton, though. If it would have worked, it would have been great. So it's 2-0. Can't blame the guy for trying on that one, though. That's going to be outside. And ball 3. And that's a ball 4. Now he can take his base.
Burton marks it for the walk. Back to the top of the order. Jackson Rogers.
So we're back at the top as Jackson Rogers will head in. And the Bears starting this inning off right with a runner. 1 on and 1 out. Here's a pitch, and it's going to bounce low, and Clemens fakes over And that one's going to be a ball. Catcher's going. Clement's going to go have a talk with Alexander. Tell him to settle down a little bit.
Have fun, night.
They got up this morning to go to Dallas and go to wherever those sporting goods stores are and hang out. Of course, their anniversary tomorrow. So.
2-0 count. Here's a pitch. That one's going to be low.
I thought that was the baby's birthday. They usually do the birthday for the baby's birthday. Well, anyway.
And squares around. And that one's in there for a strike. Oh, that one was a hit by pitch. And we might be having a pitching change here, as Rogers will take first.
Down to first, Burton over second. Coach to the man.
And that looks like what's going to happen is Ashton Alexander is going to head on over to the dugout.
Very nice outing for this Whitfield pitcher.
And looks like Lex Rich might be the new pitcher. And that's who it is Lex Rich.
Number 19. Blake Cook will take over the duties at the man.
What's number 19's name?
What?
What's the heart?
Number 19?
Maybe they never said it back. He just got
Blake Whitten.
Blake Whitten. How do you spell Whitten?
Whitten, So correction on that, Blake Whitten is going to be now the new pitcher.
I know it. I've been using it my whole life.
So we're ready to go. 1 out, 2 on for the Bears. And Peyton Stevenson now stepping in. As the Bears trying to cut into that lead here in the bottom of the 7th and keep this game going. And that's a hit straight up the middle. And Moore can't hold on to it, and that's going to load the bases. And that's going to be an E6. And after the E6, it's going to load the bases up.
Down right field line, Jack. Have a little fun, bud.
And Jackson Epperson in the batter's box with the potential tying run on deck. That's going to bounce in. Clemens keeps it in front. So here's Witten from the stretch. And that one's going to go outside for a ball. And that's going to be fouled out of play. And that'll put a strike on the board, so 2-1. And another outside. And 3-1's the count. Here's the pitch. And that one's low and brings a run in. And cuts that lead to 4.
Brings up number 15. Bases loaded, 1 out.
So the tying run is at the plate. Bryce Hudler. Low for a ball. So bases loaded, 1 out for the Bears, and they're knocking on the door. Here's the pitch. That one's, heads up over there in the dugout. And that's why you pay attention at all times. And 1-1 the count. And that one's in there for a strike.
You're in your own head, Bryce. You should have already forgot about that one. Give him another one right here.
So Hudler behind in the count. That one's going to be high and outside, so it'll even it at 2. And that's going to be hit. And Jabin Moore has it. And no play. And another run crosses. As that one was deep, almost to the grass. So no play at any base.
Brings up number 22.
And now the lead cuts to 3. With the potential winning run now at the plate, and Cooper Shook. And that one's going to be high for a ball. And that one is low for ball 2. And we have time on the field. And the coach is going to come out with have a talk. May have a pitching change, but I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see. And yep, we're going to have a pitching change again this inning.
Brook Hill's going to make another change on the pitcher now.
And it looks like Jabin Moore is going to take over things for the guard.
Number 14, Javen Moore.
So while they're making that break, we're going to take one ourselves for this fantastic finish of a game here, brought to you by Azalea Orthopedics. We'll be right back.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
So Jabin Moore is ready. And Cooper Shook will step in with 2 balls and no strikes. 1 out, and the base is loaded
2 balls, no strikes on Shook.
as the Bears are creeping up here in the bottom of the 7th with the score 6-3. And a hit, and it's going to drop as Chesley grabs it, and there was no play at the plate, and 2 runs come in, and the Bears move within 1 in the bottom of the 7th.
2 runs across.
And that brings Landon Hatton to the plate. He is the
We got runners at first and second. 1 out. Tying run at second base.
and that puts the potential winning run on first, the tying run on second. And only 1 out for the Bears here as Hatton steps in. So the Bears put 4 runs across here in this inning. To cut a 5-run lead down to just 1 with only 1 out. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. Moore's ready. That one's going to bounce in, but Clemens keeps it in front. And the runners stay where they are. So 1-1 now the count. So Moore looks in, gets the sign, paying no attention to the runners. Oh, now he checks. And throws to second, and not in time. Good pickoff play. But I believe Caden Perry is the pinch runner over there on second. Here's the pitch, and a solid hit, and that's going to get into the outfield. Past, and it's past Kate Chesley, and 1 run in, and the winning run is across, and the Bears have done it as they win the ball game with a walk-off base hit. And actually it's a double, but it was a base hit on an error as the ball gets into the outfield, and a walk-off base hit it was, and an error allowed the other run to come in, and so a heck of a finish here in Brownsboro as the Bears come back with a 6-run bottom of the 7th to win the ball game 7-6. And Brook Hill had the lead early in the top of the first with 3 runs and just had the lead the entire game. Brownsboro gets on the board back in the 5th and then scores 6 runs here in the bottom of the 7th and takes the win here in Brownsboro in this ball game. So a fantastic finish here for the Bears, and the Brook Hill Guard take a heartbreak here for this one as they lose it 7-6. So that's going to do it for us here. We'll be back for Brownsboro and Brook Hill next Saturday as the teams will meet again at Brook Hill. And so, hey, tune in again on that one. Guys, we'll be back on Monday as I will be actually in Brook Hill for Brook Hill and Dallas Christian. So that'll do it all for me here in Brownsboro. I hope you enjoyed the game. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETsn.live.